Yo, what is up guys? It's Pedro here, and in today's video I'll be talking about some things that Josh Harris could do once he takes over the Washington Commanders, including potentially hiring a new front office and coaching staff after this season, a new stadium, potentially a new name, and much more. If you guys are new, make sure to subscribe for Washington and NFL content. Also hit that like button, that notification bell as well. And check out Man to Sleep. Use code HTTC for 10% off. And I just wanted to say happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Shout out to you guys for everything you guys do. And just want to say that and enjoy your day. So let's get into it real quick. So we pretty much know that Josh Harris is going to be the new owner. We don't know when, but it's going to be probably sometime this summer is when he's going to take over. Maybe late spring in early June, but it's going to happen soon. It's going to happen in the next couple months, hopefully. And that brings the question, well, what is he going to do when he comes in? Is he going to, hire a new coaching staff? I mean, obviously, he's not going to do that in the middle of the offseason, but the next year, maybe. Will he hire a new front office? Maybe. Will he potentially change the name? Some people want that to happen. Will he try to get the stadium in D.C.? Probably. We'll talk about the facilities and everything. So let's start off with this from Rio. Shout out Rio. You guys all know who he is, but if you don't, go ahead and check him out. Rio Robinson on YouTube, and here's his Twitter right here. He talked about new ownerships don't keep coaches, writing on the wall. Soon as team ownership changes hands, you get your year of evaluation and get handed your pink slip at year's end unless you have an all-time great. So that's probably what happens with Ron, but he got at least a year or two when he got new ownership in Carolina until he had to go. One thing though, I can't remember what the name of the coach was. It might have been Dave Collins. When Josh Harris took over the Sixers, he let, I think, their coach stay for like 2 or 3 years before he moved on. So that could happen here. But if Ron doesn't make the playoffs, it's guaranteed he's gone. And if he doesn't have a 10, the only way I could see him staying is if, let's say, they get a 10-plus win season and win a playoff game. If that happens, I personally would not move on from Rivera. I mean, we haven't won a playoff game since 2007. That is just or 2005, I think. Yeah. Way too long. Way too long since we've won a playoff game. And, if he wins this one, I'm fine keeping him another year. And especially if Sam Howell looks good. But if we win 7, 8, even 9 games and either barely make or miss the playoffs, well, in that case, then would not mind you moving on from him. And if that's the case, you move on from him, Harris should find his GM. Find whoever it is. There's options out there. Let's see. Rio had a great, this guy, Mike Borgonzi from the Kansas City Chiefs. That would be a great option. He's done great job there with the Kansas City Chiefs as their assistant general manager. Would love him. You have Adam Peters from the San Francisco 49ers. He's another guy. And, there's other guys as well. We'll maybe do a whole video on that. But hire that guy like the Giants did with Joe Shane. They hired him, and then he hired the rest of the people. I don't want this coach-centric BS. It doesn't really work most of the time. It works for the all-time greats, and even then sometimes it's too much. So Ron Rivera, if he's gone, hire a GM and then let that GM do the work. And I think I think Josh Harris and the rest of the ownership group will let them do their thing. Whoever the new GM is, obviously he's going to be able to hire his own people underneath him, and then after that, hopefully he's the one choosing the head coach. I mean, obviously the owner's going to have some input and might sit in on the, interviews, but you want your GM to choose his guy. And real quick word from our sponsor. And huge shout out to Man to Sleep for sponsoring this video. Man to Sleep is the best sleep mask company in the world. They make amazing sleep masks that drastically improve your sleep quality. They sent me one about a month ago, and I have had no trouble sleeping the last few weeks. It's great. There's different types, that can change temperature, that have a speaker so that you can listen to cool things when you go to bed, and it wakes you up. Use code HTTC for 10% off. So yeah, don't want to get into this too much because, this could be a whole video on its own, and it probably will be later on in the off season, but that's just something they have to do. If it doesn't work out with Ron and company this year, hire a new front office and let them choose what they want to do. I doubt they would want to keep Ron, but if they do, okay. But let that front office group choose their head coach, and then after that, just let them do what they need to do. But something on the to-do list for Josh Harris that he could do right when he comes to the office is get that report card up. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, well, the NFLPA did a kind of report card of how all the team's facilities, treatment of players and families, and everything like that was. And we were the dead last, F- grade, which I've never seen or heard of an F-, so that's how bad we were, F- grade. You can change that right away. Maybe you can't get it to an A right away, but you can treat the players and their families better. You can put some more money into the facilities. You can't totally redo it in a couple months, but you can add stuff to it. That is something I want them to do right away. Put some money in. You have a lot of investors. Put that money in. Improve the player experience here in DC. That's one thing you can do right away, and it'll help you out a ton. Or not help you out a ton, but it'll help out the facilities and maybe get that report card from an F- to like a C-. I know that's not still not a great grade, but there's only so much you can do in a month or two, and maybe by year 2, year 3, you get that to a B, and then eventually once you can actually build your own facilities and everything, you can get that to an A, which is the goal. That's the goal. Some other things is what Jay here is saying and Kevin Sheehan is saying as well. Get that stadium to the RFK site. Or honestly, I want the RFK site, but if we can get anywhere in DC, just give me a DC spot. There's not a lot of space there, but you can definitely find a spot for the new Commanders Stadium. I would like it to be an RFK, but as long as it's in DC, I'm happy with that. And then, if it's not DC, don't want it at FedEx Field. Really don't want it in Maryland unless it's, kind of close to the DC and Virginia area. Don't really want it in Virginia either, but I would rather have it in Virginia than in Maryland. So Loudoun County, whatever it's going to be, wouldn't mind that. And I think all these states are going to come out and, with their support of the new ownership group and kind of go back into the stadium process where, as before, they kind of pulled out because of Dan. Let's see, any other things? The name change thing, at this point, I'm done with it. If they want to change the name, go ahead. If they don't, I don't care. It's just so much drama, man. So they're going to be the Commanders this year. Maybe eventually they change the name. But it really, there's not many great options. Really, we've been over this. So I don't want to go into too much. But I like the Wolves or the Red Wolves. Not in love with it, but that was my preferred option. That's the only one I really like. But hey, if they want to change the name, go ahead. If not, just keep it as is. Either way, people are going to be upset. Either way, people are going to be upset. He also says hire your own president. I wonder if he's talking about the football operation, the football side or the business side, or both. That would be interesting. Jason Wright does want to go on to the football side. Jason Wright's a good guy and everything, but I don't want that first experience of him being a football. I know he's played, but I'm talking about front office stuff. I don't want that first experience to be here. So let's move on from that. I'm fine with him as a team president, but definitely don't want him on the football side for now unless he proves that he can do that. Let's see if Kevin Sheehan said any other things. He said get rid of Commanders, go back to the real colors and uniforms and branding. Again, I gave you guys my thoughts on that. Let's see any other things. That's it. That's really it for this video for the to-do list. Again, things you can do right away is improve the facilities, treatment of players, and everything like that. And then more long-term is the evaluation of Ron Rivera. See what you need to do there. And then if you're moving on from him, clean house completely, hire new staff and everything. Coaching staff, GM first, and then coaching staff. And then stadium, that's going to progress over the next few years. Let's try to get a DC site, preferably RFK site. And those are kind of the main things. If you can do those things, we're going to be in a really good spot. But anyways, we're going to be in a much better spot than we were these last 23, 24 years under Dan Snyder. So that is it for today's video. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe if you guys are new, and peace.